Everyone, and welcome back to the rod shop. By popular demand, apparently everyone keeps asking me to do more of these videos on rod building and restorations of rods, so I thought I'd take the opportunity here. So I've got this old Drennan medium feeder rod here. It's 11 foot 6. The fella wants it totally restored. It's got a thick old varnish on it which is really discoloured. I've taken off the cork handle already. I didn't bother showing you that, but literally just pull it off with a pair of pliers is all I done, and just sanded it down. So what I've done here is I've left on the bit of varnish that's got all the writing on, the Drennan medium feeder writing and the weights and all that. I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera there, but that's basically what I've left on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to varnish the rest of it, because the varnish is really flaking up on the top half of the rod and also on this section. So what I'll do is I'll heat that up and I'll just scrape it off, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Take the guides off because it's all going to be re-guided. He wants a nice colour of deep red around the guides, or the rings, whatever you like to call them. So with a little gold trim band on them. But yeah, it's a nice little rod this, and it's also got, I mean, I've been fishing a long time, but as you all know, I'm more of a float man. I don't really fish feeders a lot. I was quite intrigued with this that fits in the bottom to store your feeders in. I thought it was actually a brilliant idea. I mean, you older guys who had feeder rods for years have probably seen these before anyway, but it's a new one on me. So yeah, that just, obviously your cork will come up to the end here and that will just butt up against it as your butt cap basically. So whenever you want a feeder, just pull it out, or a tip section rather, you just pull it out and good. Right, let's get cracking on this then. So what I'm going to do here, I've got to order the guides yet, and I can't really put the reel seat on or the handle yet, but I've reamed it out to the taper of the rod, so that will fit. It's the other way around. That will fit down the section here, and I've got a bit of flared cork just to go on the end there. Obviously, because of the size of this, the little cap that goes in the bottom, it's a little bit bigger than the cork, so I just need to flare the bottom of it just a little bit, just so as it finishes flush with the outside of this butt cap. So, and then we've got a new Fuji, because this was all cork handle before this. It came from right down at the bottom right up to here. Very long handle it was, exceptionally long actually. So yeah, I'm putting a reel seat on for him, which he wanted the one that screws up from the bottom, or the top of the cork if you like, and then above that we've got a bit of, I think that's 27mm width of flared cork, so it'll just be a standard reel seat and cork handle. And then we'll have our red whip in here with a new hook keeper. We've got a guide going right here where that old varnish ends, and we've got another guide coming up just short of the where the top section goes on. I've marked exactly where they were, as I know. So basically we had one about here, and then I'll show you the varnish that I'm going to use to varnish it up, which is the, where are we? This is it here. That's the Bonder seal. That's a clear, that's a very tough varnish. You only really need to put one coat of that on, but it gives a lovely finish, and it's really strong, just doesn't come off. Potent stuff though. Work in ventilated areas when you're using it, definitely. So let's get these guides off of the top section. I'll show you how I do that. You're literally going to be applying a little bit of heat and a knife. You need a knife for this. So if I start, let me just get the bin. basically we're just applying a bit of heat to old epoxy resin here. Don't go too mad, because obviously you don't want to be burning the blank. It's as easy as that, look. So that's that half off now. You can just try and pick up the cotton again, do the same thing. And that's the best way to get the guides off. And that's that half gone. Came off that easy. You've got to remember this has been on there a few years now. So I just put a bit of heat onto the next one. Then again, just try and get hold of that bit of cotton. And just pull it away. And that's your guide off. Simple as that. Then you can just clean that up afterwards, but keep hold of the rings, because you need to know what size they are for when you're ordering the new ones. Oh, I just want to show you something here before I take all these rings off, about the spine of the rod, which I was talking about in another video. Now, when Drennan made this rod, you would assume they've lined the spine up, which again I showed you in the other video how to do, but I'm just going to show you this. Now if you get a piece of masking tape and put that, line it up with the guides, which is about there. If you can pick that up on the camera, so that's facing the same way as the guides, that, so you'd assume that is where the spine is, where the guides are. So if you get that now, and if I flex that and give that a spin, the spine is finishing there. So them guides are 90 degrees out. That should be sitting up there like that, but instead it's facing that way. So that spine is completely out on that section. Whatever way you flip it, look, it's coming round 90 degrees. So basically, if you can pick this up, the guides, that's where the spine should be, but it's actually there. So them guides should be sitting up like that. So that is totally out, that rod. So that's got that little bit of resistance, and on casting that will throw that out. Yep, totally wrong, that, totally wrong. But there you go. So there's a lesson. Whenever you buy a rod, maybe it's worth just picking up the tip section or the middle section and just testing it yourself if they'll let you do it in the shop, because a lot of these rods you buy, they're out. I've had 3 new rods that I've tried and they've all been the same. The spine has been out to where the guides are on the rod when they're built. Just a quick one for you there. Right, that's all the guides off now. Now this varnish is on here quite strong, so I'm probably just, rather than try and take it all off, I'm going to give the rod a light sand down with an 800 grit, basically just to give it a key so as I can get some of the bonder seal on, just to give it a new coat over it. I'm not going to go too hard on it, and then I'll go over it with a finer one afterwards. You can do it, just see it, just taking the surface off of it. And when you come to varnish that again, like that colour and the whipping, you'll see that come back. So I'll just crack on with doing this. just giving this a really good sand with some 800, and then I put a 1200 over it, and then a 2000, so it's dead smooth. Well, that makes a funny old noise, doesn't it? So that's giving that a nice key for a new coat of Bonder seal. So I'm just going to get the some alcohol on that, give that a proper clean up. Just let that dry off, and then we can put some Bonder seal on that. And the same with this. I managed to get the varnish off of this bit because it was so flaky. It had to come off really, this bit. Whereas on this top section it's really hard to get it off, so I'm leaving it on and just putting a very thin coat over it. And that should do the trick then. What I do, I've got this old plate and I just put the kitchen foil over it. And then I'll put the Bonder seal into that. Now this is the brush I use, just a little foam, and then you can just run it up it like that as you spin it round, and it gives a nice finish. So if we just get that, don't need a lot of this stuff, just a little bit in there. It's important you clean the lid because this stuff really cakes up, so make sure you give it a good clean and get that lid back on. I've got the door open in here because you definitely need ventilation with this, it's very potent stuff. And then it's just a matter of, you don't want to get too much on the brush. See that colour coming back now, look. Hopefully you can pick that up. Yeah, like I said, you don't really need to put 2 coats on it. One's normally enough with this stuff. But get it on, see what it's like the next morning. But you've got to be quick with this, and you don't want to play about with it too much. Right, that section's done. Now I'll just get the other section in the machine, and it's time to do the top section. Just do nice long strokes, make sure it doesn't go on too thick, that's critical, that is. You don't want it running on you, so just take your time with it. Right, let's just leave that to dry and get out of these fumes, because they are potent. Well, we're back in the rod shop again. Today we're going to put the handle on the rod. I've got all the bits for it now. I put the cork handle on yesterday. I didn't film it, but you can see it in other videos how I put these on. I've got a Fuji reel seat which I've just put some masking tape around just to build it out, because it's a bigger size one. It fits this handle nicely. I've got a little bit of a flared bit above the handle and a black winding check just to neaten it up. So I varnished it in the last video. It's come up really well. I think I told you I had to leave this writing on here, obviously, because the customer wants to keep it. So from this point here I sanded the blank right down and varnished it with the good old trusty Bondersil clear, and I also done the top section. I'll try and show you a close-up of what it looks like, but it's come out absolutely brilliant, it has. Well, as you can see, this is how it came out. This top section here is all varnished, so you can see how neat that's came out. This section here from the butt section up to the first guide is, I've left that as it is, obviously, because as I said, I couldn't get that sticker off. If I took that varnish off, that sticker will just come off, because that's screen printed, that is, and where the varnish is stuck to it, it will just peel it off. So I've had to leave that. It's slightly discoloured, but not a great deal. But where the new varnish starts from here, I've got a guide, so that will just sort of break it up a little bit, if you understand what I mean. So it won't show too much. It's not that much discoloured. So yeah, that's the basis of it, all varnished up. Right, let's get this handle on. So there's the cherry red, quite a nice colour actually. That's what he's gone for, so all the guides will be done in that. Right, I think I showed this in other videos. When you're putting your real seats on, stick a bit of tape around the thread, just stops any glue getting onto it. Saves a lot of cleaning up afterwards, trust me. So you want this so as it's, I've arboured this out with masking tape. You want it just to be able to slide on there, but not too tight, because obviously you need some glue to get around where the masking tape is. Right, let's get this glue mixed up. This is what I'm using, you've seen it before. It's the Quick Bond 10-minute. You've got the hardener and the resin there. I quite like this stuff. Give it a wipe with the alcohol, take any glue off the handle. Still got to be sanded down, this handle anyway, but best to get it off. Give it a good clean up as you go. There's nothing worse than glue on there. Make sure you got it off your hands as well. And then you can just line that up. And then I'll just get my clamp on there, push it up. And the clamp will just stop that from moving up. Make sure your real seat's lined up. Which it is. And you're good to go. Just let that go off and then we can put the winding check on afterwards. So this is a feeder guide set that I'm going to be using. We've got the three-legged guides on the butt section and the rest going to singles. Before it had all double leg, but getting these ones is bit of a problem at the moment because they don't tend to do them. It's so old, this rod. So these are the ones that were on before. So basically they're pretty much the same size all the way through, apart from the first guide is a little bit bigger on the new set, as you can see there. These are good quality guides with alkanite centres, so we'll get them on. Right, just sticking the winding check on now. This doesn't need a lot of epoxy resin. Again, just get it into the gap of the cork where it meets the blank. Always good to fill them areas up. Just do this with a toothpick, it's easier. And then just slide the winding check on. Just how you clean it up. You can just put a little bit of masking tape over that just to hold it against the cork, and that's job done. Let that go off, that won't take long. And then we can start the thread work on the guides. So I'm just putting the hook keeper on now. I've got a trim band going in the middle of it, sort of halfway, about there, so I'll have a double gold band around the middle just to give it a little bit of character, a little bit of feature. Fiddly, but it's worth it. Once it's all epoxy resined up, it'll look really nice. I'm just waiting for that to go off. I've just glued that on there. Just need to get this to about the middle. Then we can start bringing that round. I'd say probably about there looks good. So we just put a double trim band there. So basically what I'm doing here is I've got the gold thread this side of the red, and I'll just keep them together and go around twice. And you get a nice double gold band. So as it comes round, then you can just bring the thread, the gold thread, to the other side, continue the wrap. That'll lock that into place then. You can let go of it and just keep coming round. It's a bit fiddly, this. You can tidy it all up afterwards. And it's just a matter of bring this one up. Awkward when you've got a hook keeper in the way. Just gently pull that. There we go. And just continue your wrap, and then you can cut it all off. So now we just put the pull-in string here just to finish it off. Pull the red thread through and lock it off. Just keeping them nice and tightly packed. Sorry about my fingers, guys. This is it's hard doing it while you've got the camera rolling. So give that a tug. Just trim a little bit of that off. And literally just pull it through. And there it is, all complete, all ready for epoxy. It's come out well, that. Well, there we have it. There's the first guide done on the butt section. So we've done the hook keeper first guide, and here's the second one. And as you can see with what I've already done here, you see the difference in the colour that goes once you put the epoxy resin on. It goes that lovely deep red colour. Cherry red, I think this one was called. Right, I'm going to leave it here for today. I've just done an hour or so on it just to get these little bits done. I'll probably just quickly put some epoxy resin first coat on there, and then I'll be back tomorrow to finish it off. Hasn't taken long at all really. See you in the morning, guys.